Monaco have a bit of a reputation for creating central midfielders that really make an impact in world football. Yes, everyone thinks of Mbappe, but some of the midfielders that have come through the Monaco team are James Rodriguez, Kondogbia, Bernardo Silva, Yuri Tielemans, Thomas Lemar, and even our own Fabinho, who anchors the Liverpool midfield, has come through Monaco. So when Liverpool start to get linked with their newest prospect, Tchouameni, it is worth taking a bit of a pause, having a look at him and seeing if he could really be the future of our midfield. This 21-year-old has already broken into the French national team, and is already making a real name for himself across French football. Available for an estimated 40 to 50 million euros, it's worth us having a look and seeing, could he be the solution to the Liverpool midfield moving forward? Okay, so Tchouameni plays predominantly as a central defensive midfielder. Now, straight away, everyone's going to think, well, that's Fab's position, but let's have a bit of a look into his stats and see if Klopp could turn him into something else. He may be playing this role for Monaco as he's the best suited for the position, but he may be able to apply himself across that central midfielder role and play a slightly different role within the Liverpool midfield system. So if we look at the clubs that are currently interested in him, there's quite a lot of news about Manchester United and Chelsea having conversations with him. But more recently, The Athletic have come out and said that Liverpool are actually monitoring him quite closely and are interested in Tchouameni as a potential midfield solution moving forward. So this gets us thinking, well, what could he bring to a Liverpool midfield? Is he going to be that sort of... Is he going to be competing with Fabinho if we were to sign him, or could he play that more sort of central Milner, Wijnaldum type of role for us? And to do that, we're going to go through his stats. We're going to look at how he compares against the rest of central midfielders in world football. And we're just going to sort of have a bit of a deep dive to see whether or not we think he would be worth spending 40 to 50 million euros on. So to start with, it's always worth having a bit of a look. Statistically, who are the players that he's most similar to? And really, when you look at the list, it's not anyone that really stands out. You know, McTominay, Bakayoko, Ozcan, none of these are sort of world-leading midfielders. But what gets really interesting is when you look at 9 and 10, you're looking at Thiago, you're looking at Ruben Neves. These are midfielders that within the Premier League are really able to dominate a game and control how a game's played. And that's slightly different to the way that Fabinho plays football, because he's more of a disruptor and more of a defensive presence. So Tchouameni's role already looks to be more that sort of Thiago type role in if it was to be in a Liverpool central midfield. But straight away, the number of comparisons you've got, there's no one that really shouts out and go, okay, well, the next Scott McTominay is not exactly going to get the heart racing, but he's 21, he's developing his career, he's playing for Monaco. You know, it's not the biggest club in French football at this moment in time. So let's see if there's anything within his statistics that make us think, well, actually, this guy's on a fast track to success. And really, when we look at his base stats, there's nothing to really shout about here. His goals, top 62% in world football, non-penalty goals, top 63%. His XGs, puts him in the top 72%. There's nothing really exciting within his base stats, which you would expect for a defensive midfielder. Within FBref, when they do the comparisons against data, they compare all midfielders. So attacking midfielders such as Emile Smith-Rowe, who've got great goal returns, great opportunity creation and assists, are being compared against defensive midfielders. So you would expect him to be lower down in the pecking order as he currently is in his base stats. But there's nothing in here that makes you think, oh, this is really concerning at this moment in time. But you're trying to remember who he's compared against. He's being compared against attacking midfielders, saying you're not scoring, you're not in the top 5% of attacking midfielders. You wouldn't expect that from a defensive midfielder. So carrying that on, let's have a quick look at his shooting stats. His shots total actually puts him in the top 10%. He has 1.6 shots per game. And his average shot from distance is 18.4 yards. So he's edge of the box type shooting when he is playing. But really looking at these stats, these are not the stats of a goal scoring midfielder. These are not the stats of a midfielder that's going to sort of be creating opportunities and chances. This is more keeping them penned in and then him taking the shot on, or then him taking the opportunity on. There's nothing really in here that makes you think, well, he's going to be the solution to our goal scoring crisis or anything like that. Not that we're in a crisis at the moment. What he will do is keep the game ticking over, keep the ball going back and forth to our wing backs, our Trent and Robertson, and getting the ball coming into the box. Where you can really start to see the improvement is when you look into his passing stats. His passes completed, passes attempted, pass completions, all of these are in the top 30% in world football. You know, his medium passes, top 22% in world football. Long passes, top 30% in world football. Passes into the final third, top 30% in world football. Progressive passes, top 23% in world football. Passes into the penalty area, top 30%. So even though he's playing this deeper position within Monaco, he's playing that sort of central defensive midfielder. He is really able to keep the ball moving and keep things going at quite a good pace. He has a great range of passing. There is no real drop off. You know, he's consistent in his short, medium, and long passing. That percentage is very comparable world football wise. And at 21 years old, have that level of intelligence to keep the ball progressing at that rate is very positive. So I think if you were to take this player on, would he create us opportunities? Yes. Obviously, he's great at progressing the ball forward. He passes into the final third. He's not going to be creating opportunities left, right, and centre, but at the same time, he's not going to be a problem in losing the ball if he's playing in a deeper role, because he's able to keep the ball moving quite consistently. So what type of pass style has he got? Well, as you can see here, passes attempted, everything again is the top sort of 30% world football. Through balls, top 20% in world football. But the one that and the reason I put this in is passes under pressure, which is around about 10 to 11 passes under pressure per game. He's in the top 7% in world football. So if he's able to take a pass under pressure and consistently take passes under pressure, that puts him in a very good position in our midfield. So if, let's say, for example, he was playing on the right with Trent and Salah, he's having to get the ball from them under pressure to give it back to them to do something positive with, whether it be a cross or a shot or something that Salah and Trent do. So this shows that he's actually able and comfortable to receive the ball in a more pressurized situation. So this is actually something that's quite interesting for me, to show that there's something in this player that he can actually take a ball, he can do something with it. Next, we look at his goal creation chances. And again, as a central defensive midfielder, you wouldn't expect them to be particularly high. But one of the things that's really interesting and puts him in quite high company is his successful dribbles, puts him in the top 12%. His shots creating opportunities puts him in the top 5%. He's able to create opportunities just through his own actions, but he isn't a goal creation midfielder. What he is he's someone that can keep the game moving, take the ball under pressure, and move it on to someone else, according to these stats. I haven't watched a load of him in game situation to know if he could do something more sort of aggressive in his play, but what he is demonstrating is his ability to be that sort of linchpin for a team. Where I really start to get excited about Tchouameni is when you go to these defensive stats. Tackles, top 1%. Tackles won, top 1%. Tackles in the defensive third, top 7%. Tackles midfield third, top 3%. Tackles in the attacking third, top 13%. So this guy can win back the ball. Not just as a defensive midfielder sweeping up in the final third. He's winning it all over the pitch. And what I think really demonstrates this Liverpool level midfield is when you look at his successful pressures. He's only in the top 57% for pressures per game in world football. So there's 43% of all the midfielders in the world do more pressures per game than him. But his successful pressures put him in the top 7% in world football. His successful pressure percentage puts him in the top 1% in world football. So if you are trying to win the ball back high up, if you are trying to win the ball back quickly and do something with it, Tchouameni can do that. He might not be able to do the killer ball. He might not be able to, cross like Trent. He might not be able to create the opportunity, but he will win you the ball back. He will give you that high defensive line and that opportunity to counter-attack from. And this is what really excites me about Tchouameni. When you look at his interceptions, top 1% in world football. Tackles plus interceptions, top 1% in world football. This is a 21-year-old. He shouldn't be as intelligent as within his interceptions at this moment in time. But therefore, there is a strong base to build from here. I think when you think about Liverpool's midfield, you think about Henderson, you think about Milner, you think about what Wijnaldum did. You're talking about water carrier midfielders, people whose job it is to sacrifice themselves for the team, to do the hard yards, to do the hard work, to pass the ball, to take the ball under pressure and move it on to the next player, to ensure that when we lose the ball and someone triggers the press or the trap, that someone's got the ability to do that tackle before they hit our defenders, and then they start playing long balls and Van Dijk just having a nice easy game. Tchouameni is demonstrating his ability to do that role that Liverpool need from a midfielder and do it more effectively. In essence, when you look at his tackle percentages, his successful pressures, he is being more effective defensively or offensive defensively than our current midfielders are. And at 21 years old, 3-4 years of Klopp with him, not only can he improve other stats as well, in terms of goal creations and bits and pieces like that, but if he's able to deliver this on a consistent basis, that's just more time on the ball for Trent. That's more time on the ball for Salah. That's more time on the ball for Firmino. It's more time for our unpredictable players to be unpredictable. So from a player where I was asked to do this review and I was like, why do I always get the names of players that I can't say? I've got really excited about him. I think if Liverpool are interested in Tchouameni, he's definitely a midfielder that we should be progressing with. At 21 years old, he's got the whole of his career to be one of the world leading game controlling midfielders. And I think that he would have an absolutely massive impact in this Liverpool team, the way that we play at this moment in time. His stats are that put him in the way that we play in the pressures and the traps and the trying to win the ball high up the pitch. He is better than pretty much everyone in our team. And if you were to have a Fabinho, a Thiago, and then a Tchouameni, you have a very, very strong, clever, creative midfield. So gone from being frustrated that I couldn't say his name to thinking this actually could be a longer-term solution to our midfield problems. I'm very much now on the Tchouameni bus. I hope Liverpool sign him because I do not want to see a Kante Tchouameni midfield. I don't want him to lose his career at United because they're just a team of individuals. But that Kante and Tchouameni combo could be frightening because of how well they are at tackling and winning back the ball. So what do you think? From these stats, do you think that Liverpool should be going in a different direction with the midfield? Do you think that they should be going with more a creative force than this sort of defensive, pressurized type of defender? Let me know in the comments. As always, please subscribe to the channel. We're over 2,000 subscribers now. Thank you very much for everyone that gets involved in the community and that everyone that's subscribed to the channel. My name's James Dean. This has been LFC Transfer Room, and this has been Should We Sign Tchouameni? And it's a big yes from me.